Okay, we got this, right? How are you doing today, darling? Hi, Wendy. How are you? Are you guys ready to play? Spooky Monkey, hello. Hello, hello, hello. We are going to play. I flipped the camera. Oh, it's just so crazy today. Here, I'm going to flip you around and say hi. Hi, everybody. How are you? So, this is kind of hard to show under the camera, so I figured I would do it here. You can actually do this project with a clipboard and just clip at the bottom. Pamera, Doodle. Hi, Karen. How are you, love? This works perfectly fine. Rob made this beadboard for me where I'm going to peg it down so it's easier for you to see because it holds it off of the board. One of the things, let me see if I have one done. I do. Good job, Tim. One of the things is once we get our button on our leather, you can just hook it under here, pull it down, and clip it, if my fingers will work. And clip it down. And in order to get your cords or whatever it is you're doing underneath, if you just put like a pin under it, it's going to create some space as you're working. Does that make sense? Now, if you don't have a clipboard, you can use painter's tape or masking tape and tape this to your bead desk and tape this into your bead desk. Either way will work. I just wanted to show you the different ways to do it because I know not everybody has a beadboard or a clipboard. You can also use one of the looms that they have. Let me see if I have one over here. They sell these looms and you could actually clip it to that. The premises of this whole thing is to have both of your ends clipped so you can weave around your leather. So however you need to accomplish that, I mean, we're creators, we're adaptable, right? I've had unexpected company, so can't watch. Will this be uploaded to your YouTube? Rob has reassured me that it is currently playing on YouTube. So it should be there, yes. And if you're watching from YouTube, you can click on the Whatnot link and come join us over here for chat. Or perfect. Have a very blessed afternoon, Lori. Thanks for telling me. All right, we're going to flip the camera back around. And we're going to go down to the bead desk. If the camera will stay where it's supposed to. There we go. All right. Yes, it's live on YouTube. Perfect. So we're going to put my other phone up here so I can see chat. We're going to plug it in so it doesn't die. Thank you, Stray Cat, for letting me know that. Okay. This is always like a balancing act to get everything in the camera. So I was watching Bailey, Wire Weaved Unique. She was destashing some cabs. And I was also watching Raid Train earlier, and I was working on this knotted necklace because somebody had asked me how long it takes to make it. So I thought I would actually make one and time it. So that was an interesting project that I worked on earlier today. So to do this particular bracelet that we are going to do, and I want to show you a finished one. This is the rose quartz one. It is with black leather and some black Eslon cord. I make mine adjustable, so you can. I'm good, babe. Thank you.
I said you need a cup.
I grabbed it before I started. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. I make this adjustable because I do a lot of in-person shows and I never know what size people are going to need. And say you make this and somebody's a size 7, you could just cut this off so it doesn't hang off. If they're a size 8, it works for them as well. So they're fairly simple once you get the pattern down, and I just really enjoy doing it. So we're going to start out with 36 inches of 1.5 millimeter leather. We're going to be working in green today. And then we have 48 to 50 inches of waxed Eslon cord. And something that I showed last night, if you were with me, speaking of wire weaved uniques, thank you, Bailey, for the raid. I appreciate you. Girl, I need some of those wooden spools. Like, how many kits do I have to buy? Yes, we're doing green today. I just use a clear tacky glue. The glue in this is not important, okay? Absolutely not important. It needs to dry clear and not clumpy. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the end of your cord, both ends of your cord, and I just squeeze the glue up. I dip my cord into it. I let it soak into my cord. And then I just take my fingers and I pull it into a point. And what that does, I'm going to show you on the other end, it stiffens this cord and creates almost like a needle, so you don't have to worry about a needle going through your project twice. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you are joining us on YouTube, we are actually live streaming on the Whatnot app. There is a link that you can click on in the upper right corner of your screen and come join our chat. So I did not. I guess we're going to use this button because that's what's there, which means I need to grab bronze beads. So the premises of the beads are this. If we're going to be working with 8 millimeter beads, you want to have 3 or 4 millimeter spacer beads. So you can build up to your 8-inch bead. And what I mean by that is, let me grab one that has round beads. No, I have one. Okay. So like this one, I have used 4 millimeter beads, then a 6, then an 8. And what I'm trying to do is build that up so it sits evenly. It doesn't matter what you use. You can use, let me put this back here. There's like a glare going on. On this particular one, I used 3 crystal rondelles. to bring this out. And what it's going to do, it's going to hold your leather evenly. Does that make sense? This one I used some 4mm beads. Let's see if there's a different one on here. So you get the idea. You want to create like a pyramid to bring it down to whatever size you're using. You can do this bracelet in whatever size you want, as long as your cord will pass through the hole of your bead twice. The shank needs to be large enough for your leather to go through. That's just because what we're going to do, I'm going to set this all aside here. We're going to move this and we're going to let you see what I'm doing. So with the 36 inches of leather, we are going to have 12 inches is going to be our main bracelet. So we're going to find the 12-inch mark. And that is where we want to place our button. So basically what happens here, if you pull this all down, you have 12 inches left over to tie your barrel knots. Each barrel knot takes approximately 3 inches of leather. Approximately. So if you're doing a different size, if you're doing a double wrap, just keep in mind that you're going to need this extra to do those barrel knots. Any questions thus far? Okay. So I'm just going to make sure that my leather is kind of bent around this so I don't lose that spot. And making a barrel knot is fairly simple as long as you go slow. Lost my straw. There we go. It's right beside me. You can either use a metal tube bead. You can use just a plastic straw. This is about 2 inches of a plastic straw. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Welcome. Hi, Katie. And hello to everybody else that I've missed. I apologize. So how I'm setting this is right on those 2 pieces of leather. And I have my long one on top. So if we go down, my long one is on top of the straw. The straw is up against. And we're going to take this top leather and I'm going to go around the straw and the other piece of leather. Okay. I'm going to keep wrapping, but I'm going to wrap towards my button. I like to do 3 wraps. You can do 1, you can do 3, however you want to do it. So I've made 3 wraps with that long piece of leather. I'm going to take it and hold it so they don't get out of order. This leather is coming up and under everything. I'm going to get the end of it and I'm going to put it through my straw. Now it's coming out this other end and I'm just going to keep pushing through. And when I get to the point where it's pretty much through, I want to hold this I don't want those to lose their order. I'm going to pull on the long one and the straw, and I'm just going to pull it through those three. And see how I'm keeping them in order with my fingers? And get rid of the straw out of the way. And in order to make sure that this kind of is round, I roll it as I'm pulling. I'm pulling my other one so it goes closer to my button. And see, it's kind of messy. That's okay. We can fix this. You can fix anything. And I just keep rolling it and pulling. And this is something that's going to take some practice. But it is very important because this middle one's going to try to go over, and then you're going to lose your knot. You don't want to do that. So before you pull it really tight, you want to make sure that your button, it's not right up against your shank. You have some room there. So when your bracelet is actually on, your button can lay flat. So if everything is as it should be, then you can take that long cord and you can pull that knot tight. Did everybody get that? Now remember, this is leather. It will break. You want to be snug with it, but you don't want to break it. I'm going to set that down. I'm going to check chat, and I'm going to let everybody catch up. Hey, Bailey. Are you still here, love? Okay, let's see. Did I miss anybody? I got Lori, SC96955, welcome. The Gemstone Nook, welcome. Amber, welcome. Brenda, thank you for checking that for me. Cedar Soul Creations, welcome. Came in with Bailey. Vivnilia, Craft Owl. Katie Wong. And then there's Cheryl. So thank you all for joining us today. Do we all have our knot? I kind of feel like Wendy's yelling at me right now. Hi, Sherry Berry. Welcome in. We are making a leather wrap bracelet. How are you doing today? Okay, so let me see. Put it right there. Do you have your knot done? Excellent. Is anybody else crafting with me today? So, however you're going to hook your leather to your piece, now's the time to do that. I am going to put this right here. I'm going to take my other end and hopefully successfully get that tight. And now we're going to take this cord over here that we made our needles on either end. Going to put one on either side, and we're just going to do an overhand knot. We want that to be in the center. So what I always do is I line up my ends and I just pull slowly down towards my cord. Camera's totally in my way, but we're going to do this. And so I've just pulled it down into a knot and my ends are still centered. Okay. You want one cord on each side, and we're going to come up to our barrel knot. Now this is a macrame square stitch. We're just going to do a couple to attach this cord. I like to have it at the beginning and the end of my project. You absolutely do not have to do this. If you just want to start the beads, you can do that. But a square knot is fairly simple. You take your right cord, you go under your center. I got a knot in there. That's not going to work out well for us. Glad I found that now. Make sure the other one doesn't have any knots. Okay. So you're going to take your right cord. You're going to go under. So basically you've created a P. You're going to go over the top of the left cord. You're going to take the left cord and you're going to go over the middle and down through that loop that you made. And then you're going to pull it tight. That's the first half of a square knot. You're going to reverse that for the second half. You're going to go under your center, over the right hand cord. You're going to take the right hand cord. You're going to go over the center and down through the loop. And you're going to pull both ends. And that completes your first square knot. I'm going to do that one more time and then we're going to start beading. Right cord under the center, over the left, left cord over the center and down through the loop. Pull that tight. Left cord under the center and over the right. Your right cord over the center and down through your loop. And then pull those tight. Now, this next step is very important. You have a knot. Good job, Wendy. Thank you. Up Your Art, welcome. We are making a macrame wrap bracelet. All right, this is very important when doing this. Always take both cords up through the center before you add a bead. Okay? Always. So it's just wrapped around the cords. We're going to take our first spacer bead and you want to go through that with one cord one direction and the other cord the opposite direction. So what I have is a bead in the center of those cords with one end coming out of each side. Okay? We're going to pull it down, and I'm just slowly pulling my cord so nothing knots, because for some reason it wants to knot today, because I'm live, that's why. I'm going to pull it down, and that bead is going to nestle right between those two pieces of leather. And that is where we are going to start our leather going out for our larger beads. Always up and around and through the center. Take your ends again. And this time we're going to do 2 beads. So put one of your spacers on. Put your second spacer on. And then you're going to take the other cord and you're going to go the opposite direction. So again, now we have 2 beads. With cords coming out opposite directions. We're going to pull those down. Snugging that up there, around through the center with both of those cords. And I just kind of give it a little tug to situate it in there. And there we have started our pattern. Now you can do, I generally do 18 beads to get the 7/8 inch. If you want a larger bracelet, you can use more beads. Well, one's on the floor, so we'll find that later. And we are literally going to repeat that process with our beads. You're going to go in one side with your cord. You're going to go the opposite side with your cord. You have a cord coming out of each side. And you just pull that bead down. Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. Through the center, I give it a tug to make sure it's up against the other beads. And you just keep going. Does anybody have any questions? It's really that simple, y'all. One cord, one direction. The other cord, the other direction. Pull it down. It is so simple. Cord up through the center. And just keep repeating that until you get your desired length of beads. The hardest part to figure this out is finding beads that your cord will go through twice. The beginning and the ends. Some people struggle with the macrame, but if you've been doing my macrame slide closure bracelets for any length of time, you already know how to do this. So we just keep going. Cheryl, I sent you the leather to do this, didn't I? And I'm just going to keep going with this. If you struggle with any part of this, it is going to be on the YouTube channel because we are live streaming over there. And one of the good things about that is you can go back and watch it and pause and watch it and pause if you get stuck at any of the parts, but it is really a simple project. And I love making these, so good. We're going to keep going with this. Does anybody have any questions? I keep losing my other end because I have all these bracelets sitting beside me. It keeps getting tangled in them. So how many people are working on this project? You need a workboard, yeah. I think if you probably, I was selling them for a while, and Rob makes them, and they're obviously a lot of work and they're not really cheap. And the people that actually got them absolutely love them. But it got to the point where people wanted them cheap, and you're sitting around waiting to water, Bailey. I'm excited for you to be able to play in nature. My husband makes them. He's a woodworker. And if it's something that you want to get, send me a direct message as to the size and configuration. He made one for Bailey Wire Weaved Uniques for her wire wrapping, so she could do like a jig. So yeah, this is the cool thing about this is that this is the prototype. Yeah, I don't think I have a picture of Bailey's on my new phone, but because I mean, obviously, she does the wire work, wire weaved uniques. She does all of the wire works and makes pendants and all the things with it. And so she had him put more pegs in it for her, or more holes, so she could do that. Because I do a lot of 3-strand bracelets, I wanted the 3-strand or the 3 channels to lay out bracelets. But I also, because I do a lot of double, because you can do these bracelets doubled. And so I wanted my pegs to go all the way around so I could do a double bracelet and wrap it. So, yeah, he was watching me struggle trying to do the double bracelet, and that's how the whole concept was born. Maple, hello, my sweet. I got my package from you yesterday. I'm very excited. Thank you. We're making leather wrap bracelets. Hey, look what I have beside me. It's on my list of things to do for you. I know. I'm a bad friend. She ordered a necklace from me like, I don't know, 2 months ago, and it's still not made. Making a custom mala for her. So there's that. We are almost to the end, and then I will show you how to end all of this. Nah, I'll have it done before you get back from your vacation. I know. I decided to do the green. I love this green leather. I got it on my last trip to Sedona to visit Bailey. And I love it very much, and I'm going to have to get some more because I have a lot of aventurine, as you all know. Let me scoot this up. Beads out of the way. Scooch up. Okay. I've got one more bead to go to have the 18. I think because I have enough cord left, I'm actually going to add a couple more beads so this is adaptable for a guy's bracelet if need be. It's on the floor. No. The funny part about that, Karen, I have wooden floors and I didn't hear it tink, which means it landed on the yoga mat, and my yoga mat's green. So we're just going to let that go until we're done. Because, you know, old lady eyes and everything. It's a whole thing. Come on. I thought this was going to be easy, but it's... One more, and then we'll start the macrame at this end. So basically, when we get to this end, you are going to reverse the pattern that we started at the top. Okay, so we have all of our beads on. Move this up a little bit so you can see. Yeah, you should be able to see that. I'm just adjusting this a little bit just so you can see a little better. Pull this through. There we go. Kind of turned it sideways. We don't want that. So I want you to be able to see what we're doing. Try not to smash this all up here. There we go. That's much better. So when you get to this end, just so this is the same, you want to go ahead and take those cords up through the center again. Give it your little tug to make it tight. And this is where we're going to start our macrame. Now this can get a little, thank you very much. This can get a little tricky, but again, you want the right one under your middle, over your left one over and through the middle. And we're going to pull that up, and that is going to be the, stop. Thank you, Wendy. Spacer beads, Tam. I caught myself. Lord. Spacer beads. You can do 2 first. Like, why is that not doing that? I know. I looked at it. I was like, it doesn't look right. So we're going to do the opposite of what we did at the other end. We're going to do 2 spacer beads. One direction. 1 cord the opposite direction. Got myself all out of whack there. There we go. I'm going to pull those down. Haha. Looks so much better and so much easier, right? Both cords up through the center. Thank you, Bailey, for keeping me on track and windy. Okay, so we're up through. Now we're going to do the 1 because we're bringing this back down. So it's easier to do that macrame knot because, you know, obviously without it brought down, you saw how difficult it was for me to try to tie that knot. So maybe that mistake was a good thing. All right, we're going to pull that down. And now we're going to do our macrame knots. Right side under over the left one over the center and through the loop, and we're going to pull that tight. Oh, that's so much easier. We're going to do the left side under the center over the right cord over the center and down through your loop. We're going to pull that tight, and that is a complete square knot. We're going to repeat that. Right cord under and over the left over and through the loop. The left under and over the right cord over and through the loop. And we've completed the 2 square knots. Now, what I like to do here is just pull this up and do a square knot on the top, right over left, left over right, pull that down. Now, because this is S-Lon nylon cord, I can burn it and just melt it to that, or I can glue it. And I personally like to do both. So the glue that I like to use for this is my very favorite, GS Hypo Cement. I use this with all of my beading, all of my jewelry making, and a lot of my crafting. I'm just going to take a little knot, a little dab of this on that knot. This actually has a metal piece that goes down in that tube and keeps it from getting clogged. So we're just going to set that aside. Now we're going to go back to making our barrel knots. So we can take it out of here. Move the beadboard out of our way. So that glue is dry. So what I can do, I like to take my flush cutters and just snip. There's about a 1/16 of an inch left on there. And you can take a lighter, a thread burner, whatever you have. I actually have a thread burner. And it just melts those ends so they don't pull out. It doesn't like that glue at all. Okay. So we have our bracelet. We want this side to mimic this side. So the next thing we're going to do is put a barrel knot in. So again, we're going to use our long piece for our wrapping, and this is what's left of our bracelet. So take your straw, your tube, whatever you have, hold it up against there. Take your long piece, go around your leather and your straw, and I wrap it 3 times. I'm holding those loops, and I'm taking my long cord and sliding it through. When I get to this point, I'm going to pull the leather and the straw out, but you have to hold those in order for this to work. Now I've got a hold of both cords. I have the shorter one I'm just holding on to. The long one is the one I'm going to pull, but I want to work these loops as close to those knots as possible without losing my wraps. So I'm just slowly working them down, pulling on the long cord, and it's a little fiddly, but if you go slow, you're going to be okay. The fun part about this, you can pull it out and redo it if you don't like what it looks like. I'm rolling it in my finger to make sure it stays rounded, making sure everything's pulled down before I pull it tight. There you go. Now you can put a drop of that glue. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. You can put a drop of glue here if you want to. You don't have to, but you can. But what we need to create is a loop that our button will fit in. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can eyeball it and go, oh, well, I need a knot right here. Or you can actually just hold it up against there. Have your long one on top, your short one on bottom. Put your straw there. Wrap your 3 times. We know we're at the right length. Where that excuse me, where that straw is, we're going to have to move these down so it's not too far away. Does that make sense? So we're just going to work this all down. It's going to take a little bit of maneuvering. And I'm pulling on both of these to position that. It's in my way. I got twisted is what the problem is. There we go. We don't want to be twisted. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining us from YouTube, welcome. And before I pull this tight, I want to put my button back in here and make sure that it's not too small. So I'm going to use my button to tighten that knot up against. And it's leather, and leather stretches, but leather will also break, so keep that in mind when you're pulling these knots tight. There we have it. So if this is the size that you want, you can stop right here. I'm going to continue making knots so my bracelet is adjustable. So lay your straw on, long cord around everything towards your bracelet. Hold your loops, put your long cord through the straw. And the light thing I like about the straw is I can use this when it's shorter to grab my leather and pull. Keeping my loops in order. And they're kind of going crazy on me here, so I'm just going to hold on to it. Don't panic, don't yank. Just slowly move it. Get everything where it needs to be. And then tighten it down. And I actually have room for a third one. It's going to get really fiddly. Try not to say any bad words. We'll do it one more time. Lay your straw up against. Take your long cord and do 3 wraps around the straw and the other cord. Yeah, that's not going to let me do that. Put it through your straw. Maybe I can hold on to it. Yes. Success, my friends. It's really, really short. Keeping them in the right order, I can adjust them as long as they stay in the right order. If those loops get out of order, your knot's going to look weird. Pull it down. We did it. So there we have it. We have our leather wrap bracelet, and it is 3 different sizes. Does anybody have any questions? And this way you can say you wanted it this size, whomever this is gifted to or purchased this. If this is the size that they want, they can go back and cut this extra leather. This is just to keep it adjustable until its owner finds it. So there we have it. The thing that I love about these is they're like a fidget toy because the beads spin round and round in this design. And there we are. Does anybody have any questions? Eslon. It is a waxed nylon cord. It comes in different diameters. You're welcome. Let me see if I have some in a package so I can show you the package. Maybe? I have a package of it. Oh, that's the larger one. So there's Eslon and then there's Celon, but they come in different sizes. So this is the medium weight. This one is the lightweight, and I was using the lightweight because it goes through your beads twice. So there's that. I don't. You are very welcome. Up your art. Thank you for joining. Hey, did you ever find my Stabilo pencils? Beautiful you. What a lovely username. Welcome. Rebecca, welcome. Thank you. So this was multicast to the YouTube channel. So if you, yes, absolutely. If you need to go back and watch it, if you need to slow-mo, this is an amazing project. I cannot begin to tell you how many of these bracelets I have sold over the years. They are always, always good sellers at the gem shows. And I've been making them for what seems like a bazillion years. I've also made them with check glass, the Tila beads, and that's just, you have to use a thinner cord and it's a little trickier, but it's possible to take this basic design and use almost any beads or make patterns, chevrons, the whole deal. Let me just see if I have some. Of course, I don't have a single double wrap one near me, but this is one that I made a bazillion years ago, but it's a double wrap and it's the same concept. This is one that I made that's also a double wrap and it has your check beads in it. Absolute same concept. So once you get this down, you can play with different beads, different styles. And I just go back to, you have to make sure that your cord will go twice through with whatever beads you're using. That's very important. I haven't seen these bracelets in a long time. They're in my dish from Bailey. So, are there any questions? I always leave extra. So, like for these, I put a dab of glue at the knot so it doesn't pull through. Wendy, I am so excited to see your bracelet. I would love to see a picture of it, my sweet. And anybody else that has followed along, or if you use this tutorial to make one of these, I love getting pictures of what you have created. Um, one of the greatest joys of being a teacher is seeing how people take your tutorial and make it their own and just bloom with it. It just does my heart good. So if you use this and tutorial and create a bracelet or even a necklace, please send me pictures. I would love to see what you create. So I think that kind of concludes our tutorial. Does anybody need anything? Any questions? I have quite a few things in the buy it now. If you would like to take a look and grab anything, you are welcome to. Um, I'm gonna do this, maybe. Oh, I'm gonna take a picture. We're having dysfunctions here, kids. I'm just gonna throw it up here. We are gonna discount this if anybody wants it. And that's gonna be a wrap. I'm gonna run this bracelet if anybody would like it. If there is any questions, if you have specific stones that you would like me to make you one of these, please feel free to send me a message and I would be happy to do that. We are going to find another jewelry maker. Oh, look, our friend Libby, MBH, is on. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to go see our friend Libby. She does beautiful beadwork. I have so much of her beadwork here. It's crazy. But I want to thank you all for joining. Those of you that watched on YouTube, thank you so much. Please give me a follow. Leave a comment. Comments are great. Um, and we will be back again soon. Much love to each and every one of you. Have a blessed rest of your weekend. We're going to go see our friend Libby.